associated with Cow-op and where we physically are right now.
Okay, sounds good. So hello, my name is Blair and I'm an urban farmer here at the Kinpark Youth Urban Farm. We are located in the district of North Cowichan, and we're a permaculture-based urban farm that's run by youth for youth. And we have been lucky enough to have a relationship with Cow-op where we sell lots of our fruits and veggies and some value-added products on there as well. So yeah, we'll get to look at the farm today. So yeah, behind me, this is our beautiful bee mural. We're actually standing inside a couple of native plant meadows that were planted here for some of the pollinators that come and visit the park. This is a collaboration that we have with the Resiliency Project, and we worked with the high school kids to plant some of these native plant gardens that surround the park, and we'll see more as we go through. But yeah, they're really important food sources for the pollinators that come and pollinate our plants for us. So this is actually a retrofitted area. This used to be a big pool, and over the years, since 2012, this got converted into what you see in front of you. So this is our pool building. We have a rain catchment system that helps us out during the springtime to water some of our seedlings. There's some solar panels on the roof to help power this building, which is super cool. So some of the components of the park are recycled materials. You can see that some of this is made out of bike spokes and things like that. We have a nice passive solar greenhouse, and this is where we start all of our plants. I don't know if we should go in right now because it's really messy.
That's okay.
Alrighty. Yeah, so this greenhouse allows us to extend our growing season. We have things like spinach, kohlrabi, broccoli, cauliflower that are starting to grow in this greenhouse, and it just provides a nice little microclimate for things like that are more fragile to start, so we can get a head start on the growing season and get things ready for Cow-op customers. Welcome to what's called our apple alley. So we have a bunch of fruit trees that are planted along this nice little pathway here. Lots of them are apples. We do have some medlar trees as well. We have a big, beautiful staghorn sumac here that we've actually made lemonade out of in the past, or sumacade. All of the tree wells are interplanted with wildflower species such as lupins. We also have bulbs like daffodils. So this is part of the permaculture practice. So everything that we do here, we try to increase biodiversity. This area is a beautiful gathering space for people. We have a kids camp that comes in the summertime. We have youth come and do a drop-in during the spring, fall, and winter times. And we also have the school come and do classes here. So part of our mission is to educate young folks on how to do things like organic gardening, permaculture gardening, natural fencing, construction, just all kinds of skills that come with farming and that teamwork and collaboration that it requires. This is a favorite spot of a lot of people in the community. This is our small food forest that we have bordering the edges of our market garden. And so this is an area full of perennial trees. So we have sea buckthorn trees here in front of me, and we also have some pear trees, some medlar trees. And we can go inside here. There's not really much growing right now. Yeah, there's lots of garlic. Is it?
Yeah. See the little purple guy sitting up there?
Oh yeah, right there. Oh my God! I haven't seen them yet. That's so exciting. Here is also actually a perennial bed that we have. It's full of asparagus. Right now they're just teeny tiny and they're starting to sprout. Yeah, we get lots of good asparagus that does get sold at Cow-op as well, which is just kind of a unique crop to have, especially in an urban space too. Our garlic is always a favorite for everyone. We planted this in the fall. We put it to bed over winter just by covering with leaves that were around the park. We actually planted these with our youth from Youth Drop-In. They got to get their hands dirty in the soil. It was our first session of the year, was just a big, massive garlic planting with everyone. It was a lot of fun. Now we get to see the fruits of all that labor starting to show up here, which is awesome. What else can I show you? Do you want me to talk about growing practices a little bit and things like that? Okay. So you can see on our farm that a lot of stuff is covered. You don't really see a lot of bare soil here, and whether that means mulch, so sometimes we use wood chips, coffee sacks, and sometimes we use things like cover crops. So you'll notice if we walk back over here, we've allowed over the winter a lot of what you might consider weeds conventionally to grow within the beds, but actually we intentionally leave these here. It holds biomass in the soil, and what that attracts is beneficial microorganisms. One of the meanings for me in permaculture is that you're working with nature instead of against it. So you're observing things that naturally happen, such as a forest floor that always has its soil covered, and you have so much microbial activity and so many beneficial relationships within the soil happening that allows the plants to grow. We're now looking to the beds to assess the soil and see when it might be ready for planting. So we're just still in that dreamy phase of looking forward to what's going to come this year. We know that whatever it is, it's going to be amazing because look at that soil. It's black, it's crumbly, it's beautiful, it holds moisture, and that means that it holds life inside of it. And this is really the secret as to why Kinpark has such great produce coming out of it, because it really starts with the soil. Okay. Let's talk about the pantry. Afternoon, how's it going? That's good. You wanted a spot in the community garden, right? Okay. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, it's getting to that time. Yeah. Okay, we'll see ya. So yeah, the Kinpark Community Pantry. So like I said, we do more than just farming here. We try to engage in the community as an active member of the community, because we are a public park. We have people walking by all the time with their dogs, with their children, folks who are unhoused, folks who are neighbors nearby, folks who are here for gardening. So all walks of life come through this area. One of the things that we did this year, we wrote a grant to build a community pantry in the park. And this is a take what you need and leave what you can style of pantry. We're lucky enough to have community relationships through the food bank and the CGC food recovery and the outreach team from the shelter to help us stock this pantry. And people are able to access it 24/7. And it's just one of those things that in these times we really need a lot of projects that help increase food security, because a lot of folks are food insecure. And that's the reason why this farm exists, is to teach people not only how to grow their food, but also to have direct access to food.
Mm-hmm. People come and take stuff?
Yeah, the first day that we stocked it, we only had one thing of garlic and like a few potatoes left. And we stocked like fully like 2 shelves. So a huge part of our farm here is the compost pile, the big giant compost pile. We do cold composting here, which means that it's more of just a passive system. Any of the excess refuse and green material that comes from the farm goes here. And actually something that's new is we've partnered with North Cap Mushrooms, who is also a cow-op grower, and he's giving us his spent mushroom blocks. We'll have some beautiful blue oyster mushrooms pop up in the compost. And this is great because, I mean, we can take some and snack on them, but not only that, these mushrooms actually help break down our compost. And again, it just increases that biodiversity in the soil, and it helps us create more of a closed loop on the farm. We also have swallow houses throughout the area too. So again, this is just like more than just the food aspect, it's also habitat. We have lots of insects, lots of small mammals, lots of birds who come and chill in this area, and we get to share the space with them, and it just enhances the whole park. A lot of farms don't have public access available to them unless if there's an open farm day or a special event or something like that, whereas the park here is open 24/7. We don't have any fences, we don't have any locks around the farm. We're constantly interacting with the public, so when we're working, we often get people coming up and striking up a conversation with us, asking us about our growing practices. We just get to have that relationship building within the community. We do that because we have a license of occupancy here with the District of North Cowichan, which means that they allow us to occupy this space as long as we show that we're stewarding it. And so we do our best to make sure that all stakeholders involved, so that's the municipality, the surrounding community, Cowichan Green community, the nonprofit that we work for, all of these organizations, this is a very public testament to the work that we're doing. So we try and be as conscious as possible with our growing practices and how we approach the community with this knowledge. We have these borders of garden beds that have native plants planted in them. They have some medicinals planted in them. And this is a very great teaching space. So we will have workshop availability to come and be able to learn about these plants, led by an Indigenous elder. It's about the medicines and traditional foods that the Quetsim people evolved with. And we wanted to make a representation of that in the park. We do our best to create spaces where Indigenous species can thrive here. One of those species is mason bees. They've evolved in this area for over 5,000 years, and they are specialized for pollination. So they're a very important production piece to our market garden. We probably wouldn't have the yields that we do without these amazing mason bees. We actually recently installed our mason bee house today, and we have our little cocoons inside of the emergence box there. And that's just a really unique aspect of the farm that I really enjoy here. We partnered with a gentleman in the area named Ted Leichner of Plan B Now, and he helps us steward these mason bees every single year. So I kind of have a blend of social work and biology that sort of comes together. And there's not a lot of places where you see those things coming together. But I think bridging those two are very, very necessary, because we live in an age where we're having a lot of environmental degradation, and we're having a lot of development, and we're having a lot of segregation of people who now can't afford to live in natural spaces, can't afford to live where they can access food, and there's people who are going unsupported, especially in terms of food security. And so if you think about these things in horticulture, such as growing food, such as stewarding the land, such as increasing soil biology, such as increasing biodiversity and stewarding species that are more fragile in the area, we don't have to be separate from that as humans. And I think that drawing in that community aspect of supporting each other and feeding each other and educating each other to do the same for everybody else so that it ripples outwards just makes sense to me. And I saw Kinpark as this space where this is able to happen because, again, it's open in the public, it's in the community. Everyone who's living in this community has had contact with this space, and it's a reliable space to come to. It's always going to be here, and it's full of life. Like, as soon as you walk into the park, it brings you joy. There's things blossoming all the time. There's life that lives here, and it brings life to you as well. And something as simple as that can change a person's day in an instant. And I think if we just build upon that energy and commune together to work to steward these spaces, it brings a lot of meaning into people's lives. It's brought a lot of meaning into my life. And I've worked with a lot of people who need that meaning in their lives. So I think these things are really necessary right now, and I hope to see more. I hope to see more spaces like this pop up everywhere. Yeah, that's the best way that I can put it, I guess.